Hi there, everyone. It's 4 o'clock in New York. The political fate of one Donald J. Trump and his MAGA Republican Party right now as we come on the air appears to be tethered to those glowing numbers next to every gas station in every town, in every state, in every corner of our great country. Gas prices are soaring because Donald Trump effed around by launching a war with Iran. And now Donald Trump is in the finding out phase of that as Americans sour on him personally and his party at historic and unprecedented rates. Oil prices hit the highest level in 4 years Thursday before climbing off those highs as the standoff with Iran and the closure of the Strait of Hormuz shows no sign of ending anytime soon. The nationwide price of gas, according to AAA, is $4.30 a gallon. It was 27 cents lower a week ago. It was $1.32 lower before the war started. The state's hardest hit, what the Wall Street Journal describes as, quote, Trump's political stronghold. Wall Street Journal reports that AAA data shows this, quote, prices at the pump in Indiana, Michigan, Ohio, Wisconsin, and Iowa climbed faster than in any other states over the past week. These soaring gas prices are dominating people's lives. They're making decisions because of them. They're dominating the national conversation as well. Here's just some of what people are hearing as they watch their news.
Prices just jumped up to $4.19 a gallon for regular. That's a 30-cent increase overnight.
The double spike could drive up prices close to 40 cents a gallon.
If you're feeling more pain at the pump right now, you're not imagining things.
No, we all know gas prices are high, but new data from Gas Buddy shows prices are going to hike even higher.
In remarks yesterday, Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell warned of further pain, additional pain ahead beyond what we're paying at the gas pump?
We're very well aware that people are experiencing higher gas prices all over the country now, and that hurts. Those hikes may continue to happen, and other things are going to start to reflect airline fares I mentioned, and other products and services that are dependent upon petroleum and derivatives of petroleum. People are going to start to feel that.
Anything you have delivered, like anything that travels to you from somewhere else. All of it, all of this now widespread and seemingly spiraling economic despair here at home is making Donald Trump squirm and publicly grapple with it. He seems to be looking for any quick and easy way out of the war he began with Iran. 3 sources with knowledge of the plans that are being cooked up tell Axios that Donald Trump is being briefed on a, quote, plan for a short and powerful wave of strikes on Iran, likely including infrastructure targets, in hopes of breaking the negotiating deadlock. Other options reportedly include taking over a part of the Strait of Hormuz or a special forces operation to secure Iran's uranium. MS Now has not independently confirmed that reporting in Axios, but all of those plans sound very dangerous for the men and women of the military, and they all mark a serious escalation and risk. So many of our friends and colleagues and regulars on this program have been warning us since the war began. Iran gets a vote. It gets a say in how the war goes from this point forward as well. Meanwhile, Donald Trump and his party are paying a steep political price right now. The new poll in Reuters shows Trump's approval rating falling to just 34%. 64% of all Americans disapprove of the job he is doing as president. Just 22% of all Americans approve of Donald Trump's handling of the cost of living. That is the single issue more than anything else that propelled him back to the White House in 2024, based on what voters told pollsters. Donald Trump's approval on the economy overall stands at 27%. That is lower than at any point since he entered the political arena. Donald Trump defined by an energy crisis he created when he went to war with Iran is where we start today with some of our favorite reporters and friends. Former Chief of Staff at the Department of Homeland Security during Donald Trump's first term, Miles Taylor's here. And with me in studio, CNBC senior economics reporter Steve Liesman. We've spent the better part of a year and a half separating what the market's doing and reacting to from
and
what
had
people
absolutely no success. The market's doing this and the economy's doing that.
Right. Well, you say tomato, I say tomato. But this is, I mean, gas prices are this thing that you see anywhere you go, and whether you're filling up or not, you note the price and you make decisions about when you'll fill up, when you see it. And everyone is deciding whether that high and rather shocking number is something to fill up on because people are saying it's going to go up. I mean, those are the daily calculations people are making in their lives everywhere in this country right now.
I don't know if you saw me shaking my head when you were reading about Donald Trump saying we need to do more bombing.
Yeah.
This will not solve his problem if his problem is oil, right? So oil has a couple issues. We have been right now drawing on inventories. I think to make it short, you may not have seen anything yet when it comes to high oil prices.
Really?
Right now, we seem to be able to solve the problems that have been created by the closing of the Strait of Hormuz through inventories. Those inventories are rapidly dwindling. Now, what's interesting is how consumers are solving this problem. And I'll give you some data just from today. Real incomes are down 2 months in a row. The administration has touted this real income resurgence. Real means inflation adjusted, down 2 months in a row. Spending is okay. Some of it is going to its gas prices. So the question you might want to ask me, Nicole, is how can real incomes be down when spending is okay?
Yeah.
The savings rate. The savings rate is coming down. People do things, and maybe you have this experience in your own life.
Yeah.
Well, is this a temporary shock or a permanent shock?
Right.
I don't want to leave my house. I don't want to change my car. I don't want to move to a place closer so I drive less. I'm going to paper it over. So what we have is the savings rate is down now. I took some notes here, 2 months in a row to the lowest level since 2022. People are drawing from savings to keep their lifestyles in the same place they were before. That can't go on forever.
What is the impact historically of a crisis that is described by folks like yourself as an historic energy crisis?
It can be a recession. It depends on how the Federal Reserve reacts. Right now, they're hanging tight. They're trying to see if this can end relatively quickly and work its way through and not create an inflation problem. I will tell you, we got inflation data today, the worst since 2023, 3.2% on the core rate, 3.5% on the headline rate. And what I'll explain to you is that I'm not worried about the headline rate. The headline rate is pushed up by oil prices. Right, not a big deal. You take out oil and food, and you end up with the 3.2, which is a point over where the Fed wants it to be. And so that is telling us that we have a problem. You were talking earlier about oil and what it's involved in. So many things. You have this fertilizer problem, which is not a problem necessarily for right now, potential problem for next year when farmers have been taking it on the chin. It's really terrible what's been going on out there. But that's a problem for next year. So many components of the things of our daily lives are made from oil prices and the chemicals that are derived from it that you could get some other inflation. So the Fed's going to be very wary of that. It means for sure you're not going to get interest rate cuts you might have otherwise gotten. And now you got to think about whether or not there might be interest rate hikes because of it to control inflation.
I mean, the irony of Trump spending all this political capital on the Fed, even reimagining it, reshaping it, and having hikes seems pretty extraordinary.
So I think we need to put some money on the table here about when is the first tweet when the president complains about his new Fed chair.
Kevin Warsh,
because the thinking on Wall Street right now is that Kevin Warsh can't cut rates as the president wanted in June, July, September. There is no rate cut built into what we look at, the future structure of Fed funds, until July of 2027, maybe.
You say that, but Kevin Warsh, as a human and as a figure, wasn't able to say who won the 2020 election. Are you sure?
No. I mean, here's the thing. The difference between Kevin Warsh and Pam Bondi or Todd Blanche is that he has to convince 11 other people to go along with him. And right now, the feeling at the Fed is not to cut interest rates. It's maybe to move to a place where they could go either way here. So it's not a unilateral thing. Kevin is a persuasive guy. The chair of the Fed is a powerful position, but he has to bring 11 other people along with him.
Miles, have you seen Trump in a moment like this before, having worked for him in the first term?
Well, we tried to prevent a lot of moments like this, Nicole. I mean, I don't say that facetiously. I mean, there were wars, conflicts, international crises he wanted to foment, like this, including in the first term. He was considering going to war with Iran. He kept a number of us out of the room, as I was told by the White House Chief of Staff's office, because we were naysayers, because we were people who were trying to convince him not to. Now he didn't, but he's there. I've never seen him this unraveled, Nicole. He almost always, even in a losing situation, tries to find some way to put Donald Trump lipstick on a pig and say, well, look, I won, even when he didn't win. The fact that he is still considering military options is the biggest admission you've gotten from this White House, that they know they are not winning, that they have put the United States in a losing position. Unfortunately, almost none of those options you read off, citing Axios reporting, would put the United States ultimately in a winning position. Remember, Nicole, we were told that the nuclear program was going to be decimated. It was implied that the entire Iranian regime would be changed. It was said that Iran wouldn't be able to attack its adversaries in the region. It wouldn't be able to fund its proxies, and the Strait of Hormuz would be reopened, and its capabilities militarily would be decimated. None of those have been achieved. Those have not been achieved. And in almost every scenario, it looks like the United States will end up worse off vis-a-vis Iran than it was before. And so I'm not surprised to hear that Donald Trump wants to drop more bombs and create spectacle so he can say that something changed since very obvious failed negotiations.